Have you ever felt a pull in your spirit so strong that you couldn't explain it, yet you knew ignoring it would cost you everything? Right now, at this very moment, there's an agreement written in the depths of your heart that God is calling you to honor. And here's what most people miss. This isn't about a contract you signed or a promise you remember making. This is about a divine covenant planted in you before you even took your first breath. In the next 60 seconds, you're going to discover why that restless feeling you've been carrying isn't anxiety. It's actually God's urgent reminder that you're running out of time to fulfill what He placed inside you. Welcome to Pray to Begin channel, where we unlock the divine messages meant specifically for your journey. If you're new here, this is your sign to subscribe and turn on those notifications, because what we're about to share isn't coincidence. You were led here for such a time as this. And before we go any further, I want you to do something powerful right now. Type, "I receive" in the comments, not just as words, but as a declaration that you're ready to honor what God is about to reveal to you. Go ahead, type "I receive," and watch what God does next. Let me tell you something that might shake you awake. Most people spend their entire lives fulfilling agreements they made with the world, with other people's expectations, with their own fears, but they completely ignore the one agreement that actually matters. The Bible tells us in Jeremiah 1:5, "Before I formed you in the womb I knew you, before you were born I set you apart." Do you understand what that means? Before your mother knew your name, before your father held you, before you took your first breath, God had already written an agreement with your spirit. He deposited a purpose, a calling, a divine assignment that only you can fulfill. And right now, He's urgently calling you to honor it. You see, that nagging feeling you keep pushing down, that dream that won't leave you alone, that thing you keep saying you'll do someday, that's not just a random thought. That's God knocking on the door of your heart, reminding you of the unspoken agreement. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that thing that makes you come alive when you think about it, but terrifies you when you consider actually doing it. It's the calling you've been negotiating with God about, asking Him to maybe choose someone else, someone more qualified, someone braver, someone with more resources. But here's the urgent part you need to understand. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." God works in seasons, and there are some doors that are only open for a specific window of time. Right now, you're in a kairos moment, a divine appointment where heaven is intersecting with your earthly timeline. And God is saying the season is now. Not when you feel ready, not when you have it all figured out, not when the circumstances are perfect, now. Think about Moses standing before the burning bush. God gave him a clear assignment, an unspoken agreement that had been written in his destiny from birth. And what did Moses do? He gave excuses. "Who am I to appear before Pharaoh? Who am I to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt?" He negotiated. He delayed. He asked God to send someone else. But God's response in Exodus 3:12 cuts through all of that. "I will be with you." That was the only guarantee Moses needed, and it's the only guarantee you need too. The unspoken agreement in your heart isn't about you being perfect. It's about you being willing. It's about you honoring what God placed inside you even when you can't see the full picture. Proverbs 3:5-6 instructs us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Stop trying to figure it all out before you take the first step. The path becomes clear as you walk it, not before. Right now, some of you are hearing this and feeling convicted because you've been in a season of comfort that has become a cage. You've been so focused on maintaining what you have that you've forgotten about what God promised you. You've been so busy protecting your peace that you've stopped pursuing your purpose. And God is sending you an urgent message today. Comfort is not the reward for faith. Obedience is the pathway to promise. Listen to what Jesus said in Matthew 6:33, "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Notice the order. First the kingdom, first the purpose, first the calling, then everything else follows. You've been trying to reverse engineer God's plan by getting everything else in order first. You've been waiting for financial security before you step into ministry. You've been waiting for people's approval before you speak your truth. You've been waiting for perfect conditions before you launch that business, write that book, start that organization, have that difficult conversation, or make that move God has been telling you to make. But here's what God is saying to you today through Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. God is doing something new in your life right now, but you have to perceive it. You have to recognize it. You have to honor the unspoken agreement by actually moving in the direction He's pointing you. Some of you have been carrying guilt because you know you haven't been honoring what God placed in your heart. You've been distracted. You've been compromising. You've been saying yes to everything except the one thing that matters most. And the enemy has convinced you that it's too late, that you've missed your window, that God has moved on to someone else. That's a lie straight from the pit of hell. Romans 11:29 declares, "For God's gifts and His call are irrevocable." God doesn't take back what He put in you. The calling is still there. The agreement is still valid. The door is still open, but you have to make a choice today. If you're feeling this message in your spirit right now, do me a favor and hit that like button. Not for the algorithm, but as an act of agreement with heaven that you're ready to step into what God has been showing you. Let me tell you what happens when you honor the unspoken agreement. Proverbs 18:16 says, "A gift opens the way for the giver and ushers him into the presence of the great." When you start operating in your divine assignment, when you start honoring what God placed in you, doors open that no human hand could open for you. Opportunities appear that you weren't even looking for. Resources show up that you didn't know existed. People are drawn to you who are specifically meant to be part of your journey. Why? Because you're no longer operating in human effort. You're operating in divine alignment. But here's the hard truth that most motivational speakers won't tell you. Honoring the unspoken agreement will cost you something. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you some relationships. It will cost you the safety of staying where everyone expects you to stay. Jesus said in Luke 9:23, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." Daily. Not when it's convenient. Not when it feels good. Daily. This is about consistent obedience to what God has whispered to your spirit. Right now, the Holy Spirit is highlighting something specific in your heart. You know exactly what it is. It's that thing you've been avoiding, that conversation you need to have, that step you need to take, that boundary you need to set, that investment you need to make, that forgiveness you need to extend, that dream you need to pursue. And God is saying, this is your moment. This is your season. The time is now. Think about Esther. She was living a comfortable life in the palace, but there was an unspoken agreement in her heart. She was born for such a time as that, to save her people. And when Mordecai challenged her, when he reminded her of her purpose, she had to make a choice. She could stay comfortable and silent, or she could honor the agreement and risk everything. Esther 4:14 poses that powerful question. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? The same question applies to you today. Who knows but that everything you've been through, every lesson you've learned, every door that closed, every heartbreak you survived, was preparing you for such a time as this? The unspoken agreement isn't just about you. It's about everyone who's connected to your obedience. There are people waiting on the other side of your yes to God. There are lives that will be changed, families that will be healed, businesses that will be built, communities that will be transformed, all because you decided to honor what God placed in your heart. Matthew 5:14-16 reminds us, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Your light isn't meant to be hidden. Your gift isn't meant to be buried. Your calling isn't meant to be ignored. And the urgency in this message is real because we're living in times where the world desperately needs people who will honor their divine assignments. We need people who will stop playing small, stop hiding behind excuses, stop waiting for permission from humans to do what God has already authorized. Philippians 2:13 tells us, "For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose." Did you catch that? God is working in you right now. The desire you feel, the restlessness, the holy discontent with where you are, that's God working in you, preparing you, positioning you to fulfill His good purpose. And when God is working in you, who can work against you? Romans 8:31 asks, if God is for us, who can be against us? The answer is no one. Absolutely no one. But you have to make the choice. Joshua 24:15 presents it clearly. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. Today is your day of decision. Will you honor the unspoken agreement, or will you continue to negotiate with God about timing and conditions? Will you step into your calling even when it's inconvenient, or will you wait for a perfect moment that will never come? I want to share something with you that might pierce through any remaining hesitation. Hebrews 11:6 says, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him." God rewards those who earnestly seek Him, not those who casually think about Him, not those who occasionally pray about their purpose, those who earnestly, desperately, urgently seek Him and His will for their lives. When you honor the unspoken agreement with that level of intensity, heaven responds with provision, protection, and power you never imagined possible. Some of you are worried about failure. You're thinking, what if I step out and it doesn't work? What if I try and fall flat on my face? Let me tell you something that will set you free. Psalm 37:23-24 promises, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with His hand." Did you hear that? You might stumble, but you will not fall. Why? Because God's hand is holding you. The same God who parted the Red Sea, the same God who made the sun stand still, the same God who raised Jesus from the dead, that God has His hand on you. So what are you really afraid of? The unspoken agreement in your heart is God's gift to you, and your obedience to it is your gift back to Him. 2 Corinthians 9:15 exclaims, "Thanks be to God for His indescribable gift." Your purpose, your calling, your divine assignment, these are God's indescribable gifts to you. Don't treat them casually. Don't put them on a shelf for someday. Don't let another year pass while that agreement remains unfulfilled. Here's what I want you to understand. Every single day that you ignore the unspoken agreement is a day you're living below your divine design. You might be successful by the world's standards. You might be comfortable, you might even be happy, but there's a difference between happiness and fulfillment, between existing and truly living. Jesus said in John 10:10, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full, full life, abundant life, overflowing life." That's what happens when you honor what God placed in your heart. So here's your urgent call to action today. When this video ends, I want you to get alone with God. Turn off the distractions, silence the noise, and ask Him to clearly reveal what the unspoken agreement is in your heart. Then, and this is the most important part, take one immediate action toward it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. It can be a small step. Make that phone call, write that first page, register that domain name, schedule that meeting. Set that boundary. Whatever it is, do something today that honors the agreement. Before we close, type "blessed and ready" in the comments right now. Declare that you're blessed by this message and ready to honor what God has placed in your heart. And if this message has stirred something in your spirit, do me a favor. Share this video with your friends and family. Someone in your circle needs to hear this today. Someone is waiting for permission to step into their calling. And this video might be the sign they've been praying for. Remember this one truth. The unspoken agreement isn't a burden, it's a blessing. It's not a weight, it's wings. God didn't place it in your heart to torture you with unfulfilled dreams. He placed it there to launch you into your destiny. Don't forget to subscribe to Pray to Begin channel for more divine messages that speak directly to your journey. Click that notification bell so you never miss a word that God has specifically for you. Because your next breakthrough, your next revelation, your next divine appointment might be in the next video we post. Until next time, go honor that agreement. Step into that calling, walk in that purpose, and watch how heaven moves when you finally say yes to what God has been whispering to your heart all along. God bless you abundantly.